Welcome to Heidi Relationships. Today, we'll read some more stories from Reddit. But before we start, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. That would help the channel a lot. Thank you very much in advance.
The first one is titled, Pastor Lies, Cheats, and Steals. He Gets Exactly What He Deserves. The cast Pastor Bob, not real name, contractor, me, Caldra, or op if you want. I have been a computer technician for more than 15 years. I have worked on all kinds of computers. Everything from tiny point-of-sale computers to large rack server computers. I had been attending a new-to-me church. I was trying to date a woman there. This church was her idea. That relationship crashed and burned, but that's a different story. It was about 5 years ago. I had just sat through a long sermon about generosity and giving to those that need help. At the end of the sermon, Pastor Bob asked for an additional donation because the church's roof needed repairs. And it would cost $20,000 US dollars. That's right, 20,000 freedom dollars for a new roof. After the service, I'm talking to my date. Pastor Bob walks over to me. I said hi and he introduced himself. We talk a bit. Pastor Bob asked what I do for a living. I tell him I'm a computer tech with a shop. As I'm telling him, I have a feeling he already knows what I do. Pastor Bob asks me to have a look at his laptop. It's being very slow, so I agree. I turn the laptop on, and I hear a clicking noise. This clues me in it's probably the hard drive. But I can still access the data. This is a good thing because it means I can probably recover the data. So, I tell Pastor Bob the hard drive is dying, and it needs to be replaced. I also tell him I can probably recover the data. Pastor Bob asked how much it would cost to fix. I tell him for most people I would charge around $250. However, I feel I can donate my time, so I would just need $60 for a new hard drive. Pastor Bob agrees, so I write up an invoice. New hard drive $60, labor $0. Data recovery $0, and 2 to 4 days for repair. Pastor Bob signed the invoice. Thus, I take the laptop to my shop. I open the laptop. HP, why do you use so many screws and clips? I get the hard drive out and connect it to my recovery rig. I set up the recovery to clone the data to a new hard drive. But not the new one for the laptop. A high-end storage drives. I go home after locking up the shop. Next day, Monday, I open the shop and check the recovery rig. It's working, but it will take at least 10 more hours. So, I start work on the other tickets. Then at closing time I lock up and go home. Next day, Tuesday, I've had Pastor Bob's laptop for 2 days. I open the shop and check my recovery rig. Good news, recovery completed, 100% data recovered. Report says hard drive developed to many bad sectors. Now I have a choice to make. I could put a 1 terabyte hard drive $60 or a 120 gigabytes SSD $60. Or I could pay some money myself for a 240 gigabytes SSD $100. I decide why not and put the 240 gigabytes SSD in the laptop. I then clone all the data over from the new recovery storage drive to the new 240 gigabytes SSD. An hour later the clone is done. So, I check everything. The laptop works great and is exactly like how it was before the first hard drive died. Even the logins still worked. Therefore, I call Pastor Bob and tell him his computer is done. He says that's great, he will be here soon to get it. About 45 minutes later, Pastor Bob walks in. I show him his laptop working and much faster. He loves it and signs the pickup form. He then pays me with a check for $60. It's important he paid with a check. I do a bank run on Monday and Friday. So that Friday at the bank, I am informed that Pastor Bob's check is void. What? Why? Pastor Bob had placed a stop payment on the check. Consequently, I called him, and he ignored my call. I go to church on Sunday. Pastor Bob gives a sermon about not lying. I walk up to talk to him, and he avoids me. So, I leave and decide I'm going to write it off. I spent $100 and some time to do something nice. A few weeks later, a customer walks in looking for a new computer. To welcome him, I offer him a drink and go over his options. I'm chatting him up and he tells me he is a contractor. He mostly does siding and roofing. He is thinking about offering solar. That's why he is getting a new computer. I ask how much does a new roof cost. He says up to about $10,000. So, I ask him why someone would say $20,000. He had no idea. I thought it was strange. I asked about the church. Contractor said it would have been simple and around $5,000, and he could probably do it for less. Contractor buys a nice new laptop. Sorry the setup took so long. The revenge starts now. Something about what the contractor said bugs me later. Why would Pastor Bob lie and say $20,000 for a new roof? And why would he stiff me for $60? I then remember I never cleared the recovery rig storage drive. I check in there, it is Pastor Bob's laptop data. I look around, it's slow and I'm all caught up on repair tickets. Fittingly I look around a bit. He had all of his logins stored in a folder on the desktop, including his online dating logins. And online poker. Did I ever mention Pastor Bob is married? I start printing his online dating messages. I look back and find Pastor Bob had been adult hugging several women from his online dating. He had been paying for his dates from the church's donation fund. I am getting angry now. Then I realize he had adult hugged the woman I was dating when I was dating her. It was then I decided to break Pastor Bob. I printed out all his dating messages and the women he adult hugged. For the last 6 months, except I refused to print the naughty pictures. It was an impressive packet. I then decide I need copies of the packet. Therefore, I order 100 packets printed from a major online printer. A few days later my order of revenge packets arrived. These revenge packets are amazing, double-sided, staple-bound, with a cover with Pastor Bob's face on it. Now the conclusion, and I think it's worth it. This church had a calendar of what the sermon might be about. A perfect Sunday was approaching. I go to church that perfect Sunday. I show up a bit late. Everyone is in the church, so I put a revenge packet on each car. I have a few revenge packets that are in yellow envelopes. Fittingly I put them in the mail. I sent one to all the high-ups in the church. And I sent a special packet with some of Pastor Bob's naughty pics to Pastor Bob's wife. I set the return address to the church. I also emailed a bunch of people the revenge packet from a burner email. A couple weeks after I went back to that church, Pastor Bob was gone, so was the wife. Several of the women were also gone, including the one I was dating. I asked one of the important people there, what happened? The answer was amazing. I was told about the revenge packet and how everyone had gotten one. The day my revenge packet appeared, the sermon Pastor Bob had given was about the evils of adultery and cheating on your wife. Thank you, church calendar. The fallout. Pastor Bob was fired and shunned. Multiple women from the church have not returned, including the one I was dating. Pastor Bob's wife is divorcing him. And she is the one that owned the house and cars. No longer Pastor Bob is now being sued by several people, including the one that fixed the roof. He never paid any of them. There were also rumors of a criminal case for embezzlement. No one has seen Bob in a while now. The church might close if they can't find a new pastor. But the church's money is very low. Apparently, he also spent over $30,000 on online gambling. The next one is titled, Iida for confronting my GF with a condom found in her trash. So, this happened about 6 months ago and isn't a huge deal anymore. But it occasionally comes up and I think about it from time to time, wondering if I really am in a hole for it. Story goes that it was my GF's birthday, so I went over to her house so we could celebrate. As soon as I walked into her room I noticed an opened condom wrapper on the floor. It couldn't have been one from me because we had never had sex at that point. I showed it to her and asked why it was there. She, of course, denied cheating on me and said it probably was an old one that came from under her bed. She has a cat that could have found it and started to play with it. I wasn't completely convinced and knew I needed to check the trash to be sure there wasn't a condom in there. She left the room to go do something, so I decided I would check. She was using a plastic bag hung up on her closet door as a trash bag. So, I looked inside and, without having to dig through any trash, I saw a used condom in it. I was beyond pissed, absolutely sure that she had cheated on me. I grabbed the condom, a bit gross I know, but I was angry and didn't really care, and went downstairs to confront her with it. She lives at her grandmother's house, along with her sister and her sister's BF. Her sister's BF ended up coming up the stairs as I was going down and saw the condom I was holding. He was unsurprisingly confused as to why I was holding a condom and asked who it was, so I told him, well, it isn't mine. He got that, oh crap, look on his face and went upstairs. I caught up with my GF and showed her the condom, and we ended up going back upstairs to argue about it. She was mad at me for going through her trash, saying it was a breach of her privacy. I was mad because I had just found a used condom wrapper on her floor and a used condom in her trash. She continued denying that she cheated on me and said that it was an old bag that she found in her closet that she decided to use for trash, and that she must have thrown that condom in there as trash the last time she had sex. I did not believe her, as the chances of finding a used wrapper and condom was too small for me to think it was just coincidence. Eventually her sister came up and helped us talk through it, telling me that she believed my GF was telling the truth and could tell when she was lying. So, I decided I'd listen to her and trust in my GF. But my GF was still mad that I didn't trust her immediately, had went through her trash, and embarrassed her by showing the condom to everyone on her birthday, nonetheless. We moved on from it, as we're still together, but I still wonder if I was in a hole for what I did or if it was appropriate that I believed she had cheated on me. My GF has also done some other crappy things that still make me unsure sometimes whether I ever should have believed her or trust her now. Info. Let me give some info on why I'm not 100% sure that she cheated on me, even if I thought she had. She was quite depressed, as well as having some things happen to her in the past, which resulted in her having a very low libido. We weren't having sex at this point because of it, which makes me wonder why she would cheat on me with someone else if she wouldn't have sex with me. I'm not positive that she didn't, of course, but I want to believe that didn't until I have solid proof that she has cheated. Update. Well, you guys were right. I just logged into her Facebook account and looked at her messages. It would seem she's been ducking other guys and possibly some girls behind my back. I feel completely idiotic for not trusting my gut long ago. Needless to say, I broke up with her this time. Update. I finished talking to her and she continues to deny that she cheated. She did admit that she was talking to other guys and trying to have sex with them, but didn't say she did have sex and that what she did isn't cheating. Unfortunately, she's an even bigger, heartless witch than I would have thought, because she is threatening to go to her lawyer and having me arrested for 1. Hacking into her social media, and 2. For going to her house and retrieving my computer, which was intended to be a gift for her, before I knew she was a cheating witch. I'm calling her on her bluff though and going to just try to move on with my life. I blocked her and hopefully won't hear from her, her lawyer, or the police anytime soon. A user in the comments said, "Let us examine the evidence. She wasn't having sex with you and told you it was her low sex dive. You find a condom wrapper on the floor which she said the cat found. You find a used condom in her trash." Her story changes to, "It must be an old trash bag, because for some reason she is rotating trash bags in and out of storage instead of filling them and throwing them out like everyone else on the planet." Her sister came and covered for her with some weak sauce. "I magically know when she's lying, bullcrap. Not only that, but you are being gaslighted regularly by these people, bringing it up as though you were being a butthole. My friend, you are NTA. You were cheated on, probably are still being cheated on. If she still claims to have a low sex drive, and doesn't sleep with you, and the gaslighting since means you are also a victim of borderline psychological abuse. Get out of this relationship ASAP. It will be hard, but you deserve better than this." This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the relationship stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video and write a comment. I really appreciate your support and it helps my channel so much. Thank you.